Part 18, The Solar Year and Seasons on the Flat Earth, my magnus opus. This video is from the perspective of the observer being in the northern hemisphere. If you live in the southern hemisphere, just reverse the information when applicable. How does the focal point of light, we call the sun, create the seasons and its annual movement from south to north and back to the south for the solar year? The answer is simple. The light expands and contracts, or in another word, it pulses. But even more specifically, the plasma tube of light expands and contracts or pulses. So what do I mean that the plasma tube of light expands and contracts or pulses? The plasma behaves similarly to how blood is pumped through our arteries. The blood will surge through with increased pressure during expansion and decreased pressure and flow during contraction. Plasma created above us has the same properties. It pulses, and each pulse is an expansion and then a contraction of the plasma. By the way, it is no accident that there is plasma above, and we all have plasma in our blood. So a solar year is the expansion to contraction back to expansion. It takes 365 days for this process or pulse to happen. An expansion to the contraction is 182.5 days. Then conversely, the contraction to expansion takes another 182.5 days. The expansion causes the focal point of light, our sun, to move south in the sky. The contraction causes the focal point of light, our sun, to move north in the sky. Focal point of light, the sun, direction of travel is east to west. Flow of electricity is coming down towards us, so it is governed by the right-hand rule of electricity. Remember what a day actually is. One solar day, one complete circle around the flat Earth, takes 24 hours. So the little yellow circle on the blue circle is representation of the sun, and it travels east to west on its daily path. The furthest the focal point travels south is the Tropic of Capricorn, the blue line, expansion of plasma. The furthest the focal point travels north is the Tropic of Cancer, the green line, contraction of plasma. A solar year is a complete pulse, 365 days, expansion to contraction back to expansion. Blue circle Capricorn to green circle Cancer and back to the blue circle Capricorn is 1 year. Now time to explain the seasons: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. The winter solstice from an observer in the northern hemisphere. Winter solstice, blue line, Tropic of Capricorn, furthest south daily revolution of focal point of light. Plasma tube greatest limit of expansion, furthest away from north, coldest winter temps. The spring equinox from an observer in the northern hemisphere. Spring equinox, red line / equator. Midpoint of contraction inwards toward northern limit of focal point, Tropic of Cancer. Plasma tube is contracting toward the northern contraction limit, so warmer spring temps. The summer solstice from an observer in the northern hemisphere. Summer solstice, green line, Tropic of Cancer. Furthest north daily revolution of the focal point of light. Plasma tube, greatest limit of contraction. Closest to the north, hottest summer temps. The autumn equinox from an observer in the northern hemisphere. Autumn equinox, red line / equator, midpoint of expansion outwards towards southern limit of focal point, Tropic of Capricorn. Plasma tube is expanding away from the northern contraction, so cooler autumn temps. Recap. Plasma tube of light pulses. A pulse of expanding and contracting plasma. Expands and contracts like arteries. Solar year is one full pulse. Expands, contracts, and expands. Focal point of light will travel south to north, back south. Tropics of Capricorn and Cancer are outer and inner limits of traveling focal point of light, our sun. Seasons determined by where sun is in relation to expansion and contraction cycle.